Hi everybody, this is Alan Elman, the Blue Collar Investor, and welcome to this video tutorial of our weekly stock screen and watch list. This is a report that the BCI team has been providing to our members since 2008. In my humble opinion, it's a very unique screen because it's geared specifically for short-term option selling. Most screens are geared to simply buying and selling stock. Now, over the years, we have enhanced these reports based on your feedback to us and our own ideas as well to create the report that you're going to be seeing in this video tutorial as you watch it today. So let's get started, and we're going to scroll top to bottom of the report, and you'll notice that there are various sections in the report, and I'll be explaining them all to you. So to get started, you'll notice that this report is dated August 21st, 2020. So that's the day that the report was crafted. The team starts when the market closes each week on Friday. Now, if Friday is a holiday for the exchanges, then it will be started on Thursday after the market closes, which is North Eastern time. Now, on the top of the report, not only do we give the date of the report, but we also give the expiration date of the next monthly expiration. And of course, the number of reports to date, in this case 585 reports, have been crafted for our members. Okay, let's get started now. The very top of the initial page is what we call the market tone, where we give a summary of the most important economic reports that came out that week. The health of our economy is very, very important to our investments, so we want to keep a close eye on what's been going on. The BCI team will summarize that for you at the top of these reports. It will also give the most important reports that are due out the following week. Okay, so now as we move down and scroll down here, you will see that we give a summary of the ETF report, which comes out midweek. Now, it's not the complete ETF report. For that, you're going to have to go to the member site. Scroll down right underneath the stock reports are the latest 5 ETF reports. But on the first page of the stock reports, we do summarize that for you. And it's summarized. The default setting is based on the 1-month returns of the ETF, best performing ETFs. And those of you familiar with our ETF reports know that we accept ETFs that outperform the S&P 500 in both 1-month and 3-month time frames. Okay, so that's a summary of the ETF reports. Let's scroll down a little bit further now, and you will see that we give a weekly summary of the market tone, or the market assessment of several different venues. Investors Business Daily market assessment, which is in a confirmed uptrend at that point in time. Dr. Eric Wish's GMI, which is the General Market Index. Dr. Wish from the University of Maryland. It's a technical analysis of the overall market. From a 0 to 6, you see here it's a 5 out of 6, so it's a bullish assessment. And then we give the assessment of the BCI team, what we're doing in terms of in the money, out of the money strikes, and why. We also give the put-call ratio, which is a market indicator. It's basically tells you whether the investors are bullish or bearish on the market. And you could use that as a criteria as well. Below that, we give the chart of the S&P 500 and the CBOE Volatility Index. We do a comparison chart for those on a 6-month chart. Now, of course, the higher the implied volatility of VIX, the worse it is for the market. So we like to see an uptrending S&P 500 and a downtrending or sideways trending VIX, which is what you have here on this chart. So we have a bullish 6-month comparison chart of the S&P 500 compared to the VIX. So that's the first page of the report. Now let's move down to the second page of the report, which gives us notes and guidelines throughout the remainder of the report. Some people refer to this as the key. So as you go through each section and each indicator, you could reference the key, and it will give you the information as to what it represents and why. And after a while, when you get familiar with this, you won't have to refer to it again, but it's there for you. We always get new members, and we want to have this information right at your fingertips should you need it. So let me scroll down now to the next page of the report, which is the screening aspect of the report. We have the stock screen, and then we have the watch list. So on the stock screen, you will notice that in the top blue row, we have all the screens that we use for analysis. Now, there is a three-pronged approach to screening for the short-term option selling strategies, which consists of fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and common sense principles. And you see them in that blue row across at the top. Now, the first column here gives you the ticker symbols of the securities that were eligible. We also give the name of the company. Now, you'll notice here that some of the stocks appear in gold or yellow cells, and that's because it indicates there's upcoming earnings reports coming out in that contract month, and we never have an option in place when there's an upcoming earnings report. So those stocks won't become eligible until the reports pass. So that's highlights it for our members so they don't accidentally write a covered call or sell a cash secured puts on one of those securities. But once the earnings report passes, then it does become an eligible security. Now, as far as the weekly rank or where these eligible securities came from, there are various resources. Where you see a number, that's where it appears on the IBD 50. So those are some of the best performing growth companies from a technical and fundamental vantage point. That is an outstanding screen for a short-term option selling. But you might see other resources like Other, which represents our database, the BCI database of stocks that we have over the years identified as potential option selling candidates. So we screen those for our members every single week, and there's thousands of those that are in our database, and those, once again, are screened for our members. We also look at the IBD CanSlim stocks, and that's part of our screen as well. So you could see here, and then further down, which we'll show you in a moment, we also look at the Big Cap, IBD Big Cap 20. So those are the places where we locate, and those are the pool of stocks that we screen for our members each week. We also give the recent price, which is the price when the market closed on Friday. The name of the industry, because we don't want to duplicate too many stocks in the same industry. We want to be properly diversified. And we also give the rank of the industry. Now, where you see two letters, like here, A and A, it gives you the current week to the left and the previous week to the right. Sometimes the current week is better than the previous week, and sometimes it's the reverse. But it gives you an idea as to how not only the stock is doing, but at the industry that the stock as well is in. Now, the next column is the fundamental and technical screen. This is the IBD Smart Select, which gives a analysis of not only the stock, but the industry that the stock is in from 6 different categories. We require elite performers in all 6 of those categories. We do that screening for you. You do not need to pay for an IBD subscription if you become a premium member. Now, we also have 2 institutional components, the mean analyst rating, or MAR, which gives an average of the analysts on that particular stock. And 1 is the best, 5 is the worst, so we require 3 or lower. And we also give the trend of the on-balance volume, so the up days, the volume on the up days minus the volume on the down days, and we give a trend So it could be sideways, it could be an uptrend, or it could be a downtrend. So that's an institutional analysis of that particular security. Now, as far as the technical analysis is concerned, in my books and DVDs, I describe the 4 technical parameters that I use. Those are located in these 2 columns over here. And as far as commentary, as far as, let's say, a mixed chart, you might get that the MACD is going down, the stochastic oscillator is going up. And you could tell whether there are mixed technicals by the way we put the ticker symbol in the report. So if it's not bolded, it's mixed. If it's bolded, it's all bullish. If it's all negative, it won't appear in our report. And that's what the commentary chart comments are. Now, beta is a reference to the volatility, the historical volatility of the stock compared to the S&P 500 in a 1-year time frame. That's the parameters that we use. So a stock that has a very low beta, like this one over here for DG, 0.5, is much less volatile than, let's say, a 1.33, which is for PHM, Pulte Group. So, you know, for some of you that want less volatile securities, you're going to get lower premiums, but the historical volatility is referenced in that beta stat. Now, more important than that is the implied volatility, which is reflected in your premiums, and that's something we teach in our books and DVD programs. Now, for those of you that want to use securities that have dividends, we give the % dividend yield for that particular security. So it's the annual dividend divided by the price of the stock. We give the earnings report dates because that's one of the key features. We don't want options sold if there's an upcoming earnings report. Now, when it's in red and bolded, that means the company has confirmed the date. Otherwise, it's an expected date. We separate the stocks by the end of the expiration contracts. So you see a line over here, that's the end of the current contract month. And then we have broken black lines for expirations in the ensuing contract month. That's how we break it down. That's the default way we set the stocks in our reports. Now, how many weeks have these stocks been in our running list? That shows strength. So a stock may have appeared in our running list for 17 straight weeks, as it did with Microsoft over here. Or it may be brand new, as it with Acme Technologies. So, you know, that's another factor in showing the strength of the particular security. And finally, the last column here gives the ex-dividend dates. Sometimes we'll make another comment as well, but generally speaking, that for ex-dividend dates, for those securities that give dividends, and that's where you will find that. So we're going to now scroll down, and you could see as we scroll down that there were quite a few securities in this week's report, and it even went over to the next page. Now, on the next page, you will see that there's another section, currently no stocks in it, where the information was inconclusive. So if we do put a stock in there, it may not be accurate. So it may look good, but there's something about it that we're concerned about. Maybe it's a brand new security. We don't have enough data on it. So we just bring it to your attention that you know, you may want to consider the stocks above it, but we'll put it on the list anyway, just to show that it's showing strength at that point in time. Now, the next section that's in pink here are stocks that were on the previous week's running list, but failed on the current week. And we leave these stocks in our report until they fail 3 weeks in a row. Then they get bumped and they have to earn their way back on. But sometimes a stock will be on the list for, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, get bumped because of usually for technical reasons, and then recover and then back on the list. So we leave them there unless they fail for 3 weeks. But the stocks that you want to consider at that point in time are the ones that are in the white cells. Now, I just want to move on to a few other parameters that before we move further down, and that is we looked at the earnings report dates over here, I also want to give you the other columns to the right. Are weeklies available? Some of our members like to trade weeklies. My preference is for monthlies, but weeklies are just fine. So where you see a Y, that means yes, weeklies are available for that particular stock, not for all the stocks. The next column gives option liquidity. So are the near the month strike prices, do they have open interest greater than 100 contracts? We also will accept it if it has a bid-ask spread of 30 cents or less. So where you see Ys, that means yes, the liquidity is just fine. Now if you see an N, well, there's an N down here in the pink section, that means no. The reason we leave it in our report, if it doesn't have adequate liquidity at the time we fabricate these and create these reports, is that sometimes that'll change. So the option liquidity may improve, and therefore it'll become eligible. Or we also have members that use these reports just for the stock purchase reasons and without the option leg. So we leave these in, and we just call it to your attention that at the time these reports were crafted, that the liquidity was inadequate. We did mention the number of weeks in the report and the commentary. So I had just earlier skipped these three columns over here, but I made a big comeback and put them into this video. Okay, let's scroll down now. Pink cells are the ones that got bumped. Now, the stocks, when we do remove them, we let you know. These stocks have been down here, have been on the list for several weeks, and because they missed 3 weeks, now they're gone, and they have to earn their way back on to the premium report. Okay, so if we then scroll down, you will notice now we have what we have a copy and paste section. Many of you have asked us over the years to make the report not in PDF, but rather in Excel format so that it can be copy and pasted to your own spreadsheets. We have a lot of concerns. Some of it is legal about mistakes being made in transferring. So right now, from our attorneys have advised us not to do that, but they did allow us to create this copy and paste section, and that's actually coming up shortly. Right now, you will see in this section here our weekly watch list. So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I apologize for that. We'll get to that in a moment. So the watch list shows you all the stocks that have made our reports on the last week of the previous contract and each week of the current contract. So you can kind of follow a particular security along. For example, let's look at AMD. Well, the final week of the previous contract, it was bolded. It had the strongest technicals. First week of the new contract, same thing. Second week of the new contract, same thing. Third week of the new contract, still made it, but now the technicals were mixed. Next week also made it. Technicals are mixed. And then as far as the final week of the contract, it still made it. It's very, very, very strong for AMD for that particular contract. And then the next contract, you will see the final column will then be all the way to the left, and we'll start the new weeks of the new contract. So that's the weekly watch list after the stock screen. And now we're going to scroll down. You can see we had 2 pages of that. Sometimes there are 3. And now what I was talking to you about before, we have the copy and paste section. So as I was saying, our attorneys do allow us now to offer a copy and paste of the ticker symbols that are in our report. So you can actually take these symbols and copy and paste them onto your own spreadsheets. At this point in time, we're not allowed to put the entire report in Excel format. So as much as I'd like to do that for you, there are other considerations that the BCI team has. Okay, we're going to scroll down now. What do we have? Hey, wait a second. It's the same thing we had right at the beginning, page 1 of the report. What the heck is that doing here? Well, we have members, everybody does, who have some visual challenges. So we recreate the report in a much larger font in the last section of the report. So as you'll see, the pages are much larger. So if you printed them out, you would have to print out a lot more pages. I'm just scrolling down now, and you can see all the pages in the report, and there are a lot more of them, but basically it's the same content that you saw at the top of the report. We don't duplicate the watch list or the copy and paste sections. That's not necessary. But where you have all this data, yes, we do we do have a second set. And that was based on your request to us. So we're going to come back to the top report, a part of the report here, because we made it. We made it through the entire report. I really have to commend my team because they evaluate thousands of data points each week to create these weekly stock screen and watch list reports. And the accuracy, despite having to look at so many data points, has been amazing through the years, and we're very, very proud of it. So if you feel that a report of this nature will benefit you, consider joining our premium membership. It's only one of the benefits that we offer. There are also weekly exchange-traded fund reports. We have a video for that, and monthly blue chip reports where we evaluate the Dow 30 each month. In addition to a couple of hundred educational videos and much more. Go to the membership link and download the file of member benefits. Too many to go through on this particular video. So that ends this video tutorial of our weekly stock screen and watch list. I want to thank you for your attention and taking the time to listen to it. If you decide to join our premium membership and make use of this report, I very much hope that it benefits you, that it puts cash in your pocket. As always, this is Alan Ellman, the Blue Collar Investor. Take care, everybody.